Having spent 18 months as a digital nomad, I mostly traveled in Southeast Asia, probably because those were the more popular countries and because of the weather, if I'm honest. But I wish I had spent more of that time in Europe. However, I did manage to spend 2 months in perhaps the best country for digital nomads in Europe. I'm talking about Italy. Obviously, this is a very subjective thing. I mean, what you're looking for in a stay, what your preferences are, and even when you can get a visa and how long you can stay in different places. But let me tell you why I think Italy might be one of the best locations for digital nomads in Europe. First of all, it's Italy. It's just an incredibly beautiful country with such a rich history, and don't even get me started on the food. Now you might be thinking, less than $1,500 per month living in Italy? No way. So let's address that, as Italy is not necessarily an inexpensive country. At least not if you stick to the major cities. You're probably not going to be living in Rome or Venice on this budget. But the whole point is that you can stay in a smaller town pretty close to all of these amazing places around Italy. Broadly speaking, the further north you go, you'll be paying a bit more. And the bigger the city gets, you'll be paying a bit more. So we saved a lot of money by staying in smaller cities in the south. My girlfriend and I stayed in 2 different cities, 1 month in each place, and I'll quickly share just how much we paid. And now both of these places we booked through Airbnb, and I'm sure you could save even more money if you booked outside of Airbnb, but we just really appreciated the ease of booking through the platform. Okay, so the first place we stayed for a month was in Levarano, a small city in southern Italy, pretty close to Lecce. We got a pretty decently sized townhouse with a rooftop terrace in the historic center of town for $800. And this town was pretty lively, plenty of restaurants, supermarkets, it even had a gym, and it was easy for us to take the bus, rent a car or a scooter to go on adventures in the region. The second place we stayed was perhaps a bit more unique. This was a tiny town called Tortorella with only a few hundred people living there. Here we stayed in this amazingly restored tower, basically. So we had this huge luxurious house. The drawback here, of course, was that we were staying in such a small town, pretty far from anything. And there were no supermarkets in this little town, just a corner store and a pizzeria, which we frequented a lot. And here we paid $880 for the month. In both places, we would usually cook at home and go out to eat maybe once or twice per week. So our expenses pretty much consisted of, well, the accommodation price, groceries and food, and then all the trips and experiences and car rentals and everything we had besides that. And that came out to just about $1,500 per month in both places. And I guess we also saved money by not renting a car the whole time. So we would only rent a car when we needed it to go on a trip. So we would rent a car for a few days to go somewhere specific. But we would also try to use public transportation if it was possible. But this is really one of the strong selling points as well. All of the amazing places you can visit around Italy relatively easily. From visiting Rome and Naples to incredible beaches on the coast, historic cities, incredible hikes in the mountains, and tourist hotspots like Positano. In those 2 months, we had so many amazing experiences by going on a bunch of smaller trips in between us just working from our little homes. Also, the weather is fantastic. It really allowed us to extend the European summer, and I think we left around mid-November, and by then we still had pretty mild weather, which is really something that we value, as we're just not big fans of the cold. Now, I could go on and on about the places, the food and the people, but I want to know what you think about Italy as a destination for digital nomads, expats, or whatever you'd call it, or if there are any other countries in Europe that you think are even better suited for this. Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.